They called her Forgotten, a ghost soldier from long-lost missions. A name smudged on old rosters no one checked. No welcome, no salutes, just a woman in a crisp uniform walking through Fort Bradshaw's iron gates with a stare that silenced rooms. Her eyes carried battles no briefing ever mentioned. Her silence, louder than any command, made even the toughest recruits shift uncomfortably. They didn't recognize what survival looks like when it limps back without medals. Staff Sergeant Elena Cruz wasn't there for applause. She was there on orders, quiet ones. From where, no one knew. With scars she wore like steel under skin. No one dared ask, not aloud. But the whispers followed her like shadows, that she was damaged goods. Dead weight, a relic, that maybe she used to matter but now, just another transfer shuffled like forgotten gear. The loudest voice was Private First Class Darren Hall, a teenage soldier fresh from civilian life, soaked in bravado but dry of experience. One morning in the locker room, he saw her rolled up sleeve, saw the ink, and laughed, loud. "What's that?" he scoffed, pointing mid-sip of his protein shake. "Sticker from a cereal box? Is that even real?" The others chuckled. Elena didn't flinch, just lowered her sleeve, locked eyes with him, and walked away. No words, just a look that chilled the air. Hole grinned, thinking he'd won. He had no idea that mark on her arm wasn't just ink. It was once classified, scrubbed from every database after Operation Widow's Gate, a mission deep in the Arctic that never existed. 5 entered, 4 died, 1 returned, Elena. Those who knew the truth, who had clearance beyond clearance, spoke her name like a ghost story. Cruz, the survivor, the shadow. The legend whispered between gunfire and prayers. But to the kids around her, kids who never saw real war, she was just weird, quiet, background noise, until everything changed. One morning during inspection, the new base commander arrived, General Thaddeus Langston, decorated, feared, unshakable. As he walked the line of troops, boots clicking on concrete, he froze in front of Elena. Not a blink, not a word, just eyes locked on that tattoo. Then his voice cracked. "Where did you get that ink?" She replied softly, "Sir, Operation Widow's Gate." The silence that followed hit harder than a grenade. Langston staggered, visibly shaken. He knew. He remembered. She wasn't just a soldier. She was the survivor, the one who made it out of a billion-dollar black ops disaster with nothing but grit, blood, and 3 wounded men tied to a makeshift sled. He straightened his spine, raised a sharp salute, and said, "Ma'am." Gasps, frozen faces, wide eyes, and Hall pale as paper, jaw slack. Langston turned to him, voice like a whip. "Is this the one who mocked your ink, Sergeant?" Elena nodded once. Calm. Hull stammered, tried to recover, but the general shut him down cold. "You've got 2 options, son. Learn respect or pack your gear and walk." Hull chose silence. Shame poured from him. And from that moment, Cruz wasn't invisible anymore. She was unstoppable. Word spread like wildfire, through barracks, mess halls, and command rooms, about the Elena Cruz, the woman who fought blizzards and bullets, who built survival from scrap, who carried lives on her back when medevacs couldn't fly. Now those same recruits who once ignored her stood taller when she entered, took notes, hung on every word. And the general? He gave her access to the Special Warfare Archives, assigned her command of a black ops unit that answered only to whispered orders. And Hall? He was reassigned to her, as her driver, humbled but loyal. And when a convoy in the Mojave was ambushed and their Humvee exploded, it was Elena who dragged him from the wreckage with her bare hands. He sobbed into her shoulder, choking out, "I'm sorry." She only said, "Now you understand." Because Elena never sought glory. She carried it, quietly, for the fallen, for those who didn't make it back, for those whose stories ended before they could be told. When new cadets ask, "Who is she?" senior officers just shake their heads and say, "If you have to ask, you're not ready to know." Because Elena Cruz wasn't cast aside. She was tempered, tested, and risen. And that black line inked into her skin, it wasn't a tattoo. It was legend, etched in memory, loss, and fire.